This is Mikey.
And I'm Garrison Rifen. This is Cinema Debrief. Welcome back to Cinema Debrief. I'm Garrison Rifen here alongside Mikey Nip. How are you doing tonight, Mikey?
I am doing outstanding, man. It is my favorite time of the year. NFL playoffs, baby. That's right. I'm not saying anything about movies. No, I do. Look, I am more of a traditional NFL guy. Like, I grew up more of an NFL guy, to be completely honest. I do love my Oregon Ducks, even though they did get destroyed by Indiana. But in my blood, diehard Cowboys fan. But I love the wild card season, man. I love this season. We had 2 outstanding games on Saturday. We've got 3 games today, the day that we're recording. But of course, yeah, I mean, it does distract me a little bit. I had like this grand plan to do a triple feature on Saturday and catch 3 movies in a day, which I don't do often. But when you've got tight 90 movies coming out, that can work to your advantage of seeing quite a few movies in a day. But that game was too good on Saturday night, so I did not go see a third film. But you know, a double feature is not bad in a day. I know you guys like in the Rifen household are Cowboys fans, but not necessarily like diehard NFL people. Or
well, I think my dad is.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of got raised more on just watching college football, and in the South, you kind of get that a lot more too. There's a lot more discussion about college football between my friends and everything.
Yeah.
You know, I had friends that were Auburn fans, Alabama, Georgia, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, this is always an exciting part of the year. I love the NFL playoffs. It's a sad part of the year too, because you get great games, but you're also getting less and less of them until it all eventually stops. And then you go, man, I want to be back in August and September again, starting this back up. I went out. I didn't have a lot of movie watching happening this week in our house, but we did go see a John Williams America concert, which featured a lot of scores from films, which I love the theme of that. It starts off with the Star Spangled Banner, but movie-wise, covers things like Born on the 4th of July, Far and Away. We got Saving Private Ryan, 1941, which I do love that theme from 1941.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds awesome live.
It's not one that like comes right to my head, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Music from Lincoln, The Patriot, and then they finished with Raiders, which is
nice.
Awesome. But then they did an encore of Superman March, which I thought was awesome.
So I saw you sent the brochure into the Discord, and when I saw that, I was like, oh, they're doing some of his stuff from the Pops, you know, because he was huge in the Boston Pops.
It's a bit of both.
So they did a bit of both. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mentioned the movies since we're strictly a movie podcast. But
Yeah.
They cover stuff from there's like the Cowboy Overture and some Star Spangled Banner stuff.
Good.
And, you know,
that actually would have been a really good concert then.
Yeah.
I like that. I like his Pops era just as much as I do his film scores, even though like I have been called someone that thinks that John Williams is a hack. Opinions can change, people.
I think I have to say you said that yourself.
I know. Opinions can change. Maybe that night I was having a bad night. Maybe. I don't know. But sure, yes, because I said it on a podcast, it is of record. But that doesn't mean that like I really to my core believe that. Maybe it was a bit. You know, sometimes some of the stuff on these podcasts is a bit. Like this could be a bit. Like maybe I hate John Williams, but you'll never really know.
Speaking of 54-time Oscar-nominated John Williams, let's get to the awards.
Yes. It is that is another part of this time of year that is my favorite thing, obviously, is we are in the midst of awards season. Some awards are much more important than other awards.
Yeah.
You've got the first ones that kind of always come out of the bag are all the critics awards. So different cities will have their like critics associations, and some are bigger than others, like the New York Films Critics Association, probably more important than the Miami Critics Association. Not disparaging Miami, But like when you look at the East and the West Coast, your LA, New York, those are big. The National Film Review, always a very big one. And then the Critics' Choice Awards, which I guess are newer. Maybe
Yeah.
they've been going on for a long time, but this is starting to become like televised, which it wasn't before. And Chelsea Handler hosts it. And so I don't watch it because she hosts it, but I do pay attention to like who wins, because the difference obviously being that those are the critics, not the peers, which the awards that are given by peers, I think, are much more important. And the guilds, really. So which is peers technically, kind of, sort of. The guilds and the peer awards, like the Oscars and the SAGs and stuff like that. Oh, I'm sorry, the actor awards. My bad. We have to get that straight. But yeah, the critics. So do you have those winners in front of you, like the critics? Because there were some interesting ones, I thought.
Yeah. So first off, it looks like it started in 1996, but they didn't have their
newer. Yeah.
They didn't have their first venue event until 2005.
Exactly. Yeah. Very new.
So, and that actually was on the WB in 2005. I never watched that.
Right. No, it and I think now it's on like the CW, if I'm not mistaken, if it's anywhere. I think it is
now on E and USA Network.
E and USA. That's right. That's right. It was maybe 2 years ago on the CW.
It was.
But yeah, so it's changed.
This is not unexpected. One Battle After Another wins Best Picture.
Yep.
And the Critics' Choice. Timothée Chalamet wins for Best Actor.
Okay. Do we think that's momentum?
I think so.
I think so too, but the Globes are going to be in the Globes. I don't think he's going to win just because of the way the Globes splits their categories up. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
The good news for him on the Globe side is that's, again, not a voting body that votes for the Oscars.
It's just random critics. Yeah.
And while he won the SAG Awards last year, I believe, but did not win the Oscar, that's still a more of a precursor to me than Golden Globes.
I'd agree with you. Yeah. I was kind of shocked by that. The SAG and the Oscars don't often split like that. I think that statistically, I think if you win a SAG, you're probably likely to win the Oscar as well. But I don't know exactly what that breakdown is, but it seems to me, because those are both peer awards, that they'd be consistent, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think also you might have seen the split with Emma Stone over Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon.
That's right.
There as well. So, it does happen occasionally.
And that I wasn't mad about.
No. Well, Emma Stone gave a good performance.
She did. Always does.
Jessie Buckley wins for Hamnet.
Yeah, that's big for her. That's good momentum for her. Yeah.
Could be the start. Usually there's one category, Best Supporting, Best Actor, whatever, that someone just sweeps every year, it feels like.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'd be interested to see what category that starts to be. I think it could be this one, Amy Madigan for Best Supporting Actress.
Yes, I think the Best Supporting Actress is a shoe-in, whereas actor is going to be all over the place, I think.
Yep, and that was Jacob Elordi for Best Supporting Actor in Frankenstein.
Yeah. But wait a minute, I'm confused. I thought Netflix told us that those movies that they release are TV movies. I'm so confused. How could he win when it's a TV movie?
Take it up with whatever.
I'm complaining about Netflix picking and choosing what movies they call movies and what movies are TV movies for the benefit of random categories on the Globes or the Emmys. I mean, it's just whatever. They're
just trying to rack up awards.
They're just trying to ruffle my feathers is all they're trying to do.
Miles Canton won Best Young Actor. That is not a category at the Oscars, but
I like that category though.
It's cool to see him get that because I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I thought so too. The kid that was in Hamnet, Noah Jupe's brother,
Jacoby Jupe.
I think he won an award somewhere for might have been just a Critics Circle Award or something for Best Young Actor. I like that category. I think that should be considered because that way we don't have things like the chick from The Piano winning an Academy Award in the year that movie came out. I was not happy about that.
I'm going to give 3 winners real quick because I think this is the race right here, and I think this kind of shows that.
Cool.
PTA wins Best Director.
Oh yeah.
Best original screenplay goes to Ryan Coogler for Sinners.
Yep.
Best adapted screenplay goes to PTA for One Battle After Another. I think those are your two front runners right now. And I think
so,
tonight with the Golden Globes obviously this comes out after the Golden Globes happens.
Right.
I think you're going to see One Battle After Another win Best Comedy, and you're going to see Sinners win Best Drama. That will just continue that battle that we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that the Globes does that's different than the Academy Awards is they don't split adapted and original. So they only have one screenplay.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Category. So, I mean, for the Globes, their screenplays, and they have a few more nominations, or they allow a few more. They've got One Battle, Marty Supreme, Sinners. It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, and Hamnet. I mean, and that's another thing you'll see with the Globes as far as international representation. They have much more international representation in traditional categories than, like, say, Critics' Choice or the SAGs or even the Guild, you know, as far as that's concerned. The Writers Guild, for some reason, they don't announce their nominees or something until like January 27th. It's way down the road. But they'll have split categories. They'll have original and adapted.
One of the new categories, Best Casting and Ensemble, went to Sinners. Francine Meisler. I
think that's fair. I mean, that was a great cast up and down. Yes. That particular award is not part of the Globes. They don't have a casting, but I think we get that for the Oscars this year.
We will go over below the line stuff when we start getting towards the Oscars and our thoughts about where that's going to go. We're going to at some point do an episode much closer to the Oscars dedicated towards that.
Which the Oscars is until March, which is crazy.
I wish it was in February. I loved it when it was.
March just seems really late in the year.
Gives me a little time to get it in, though, to get caught up on all the best.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing for Gen Pop. I mean, a lot of these movies that are smaller that are going to get nominated don't become available until like late January, February, after the nominations, because the nominations will be, I believe, in 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks after the Globes is when they traditionally are? Mm-hmm. Let me see on my calendar here. Oscar nominations are the 22nd. So really next week. Oh, no. Yeah. The week after next.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks, yeah. So that's usually how that works. They're always, for some reason, even though the Globes don't mean anything really, the Oscar nominations are always like a week after the Globes.
And that's when I start putting lists together of, okay, I want to see these movies. I want to see these movies. Yeah. Maybe I don't need to see these because I can never get the documentaries in. They're almost never available. The foreign films are almost never fully available for me.
Yeah, what's interesting, at least for Birmingham, I can't speak for Brunswick, obviously, but for Birmingham, we're getting No Other Choice next week, which I'm kind of excited about. I didn't think we were going to be getting that anytime soon. So I'm going to try and we got Sentimental Value like last year, which I know that's only a few weeks back, but last year, and Dr. Earl got a chance to see it. Awesome. He invited me, but I just, for whatever reason, couldn't make it that particular night. But I'm frustrated that I didn't go see it because I guess if it gets nominated for stuff, it'll come back through maybe. We'll see.
Well, and I hope around the Oscars, if it comes through and gets wider releases, maybe we can even dedicate some portion of the episodes to something like a Sentimental Value or something like that.
Definitely.
To, report on it and give our thoughts on it.
Definitely.
Because that's one I'm actually very excited to see at the end of the day. Do you want to get to your off-the-shelf pick?
I do. I want to make one comment on Golden Globes. Their Best Picture drama is chock full of international pictures. I don't know if that is going to be the same case for the Oscars this year, but they've got It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, and Sentimental Value, along with Hamnet, Frankenstein, and Sinners. Those are their dramas. Their musical or comedy, which is always a bit of a joke of a category, is Blue Moon, which I have not had a chance to see yet. Begonia, which was pretty good. I liked it. Marty Supreme, my favorite movie of the year. No Other Choice, another foreign film. Nouvelle Vogue, another foreign film.
Well,
technically speaking, well, it is. I mean, it's a French film.
Even that's even two Linklaters in the same category.
Two Linklaters in the same category, and then One Battle After Another. So what they're doing is giving a chance to give Sinners an award and One Battle After Another, I think, is what they're basically doing here. Because argument could be said that One Battle After Another is also a drama, but
Yeah,
there's comedic moments in it.
I
So
agree that
yeah.
it straddles the line for me because it definitely has comedic. I mean, there have been memes made about the whole, just a few
Yeah.
beers line, and there's some comedic moments, but at the same time, it's at the core of it, it's a drama to me.
Yeah. And then they've added new categories. Now, a couple of these were last year as well, but they've got that cinematic and box office achievement, which is so dumb. But listen to this lineup: Avatar: Fire and Ash, obviously,
Yeah.
F1 the movie, K-pop Demon Hunter, which was only released in theaters after it did so well on Netflix.
And also didn't make, I mean, it made like 20 something, but it
Yeah,
didn't
and it
make.
made, so I guess that's what more of a cinematic achievement than a box office achievement, I
guess.
guess is their argument there. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which actually wasn't much of a box office achievement, but
Well,
cinematic.
it wasn't much of a profit achievement, but it still
Right.
made close to 600 million.
They've also got Sinners, Weapons, Wicked for Good, and Zootopia 2. Now, I guess they could throw a bone to Sinners in that category and maybe go Marty Supreme in musical or comedy.
I bet
Could be something they would do.
I bet they give it to Avatar.
That's what I'm picking. I picked Avatar
because that just feels like something that they would have done. But
Yeah.
see, they got the nomination before Avatar even came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, like, I get it. You kind of have to, okay, well, this one's going to do well because it's Avatar.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, to me, the story of success, besides K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix, at the box office has been Zootopia. Zootopia is going to outgross Avatar 3 at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're right. No, I think you're right. But anyways, the Globe, and then they've got these dumb like stand-up comedian and best podcast, and so the Globes to me is a bit of a joke. Now I do watch it every year just because I have since I was a kid. I mean, it's like an award that used to mean more than it does. Like back in the day, if you got a Golden Globe, you're probably gonna get the Oscar also. Like it kind of meant bigger things back in the day than it does now. So I'll watch it tonight. It's on tonight. I'm of course going to watch. I print a ballot. Like I still get into it, but I fully recognize that it's much more of a joke now than it once was.
I don't watch any of them besides the Academy Awards with the sound on. Golden Globes, I'll turn the TV on. I'll keep it on mute. And if there's something that wins and I want to hear a speech potentially, I might unmute it. Otherwise, I just pay attention to the winners.
Wait, you didn't watch the Ricky Gervais years?
If I didn't watch that one live, which I may not have, I definitely obviously watched it the millions of times.
He had some epic monologues back in the day. That was another reason like you would watch it. I mean, depending on who the host was, you knew that there was going to be some fireworks. Nikki Glaser, I think, is a great host. I think she is equally. I think she takes shots at both sides, if you will. She's not just one note. So I kind of like Nikki Glaser a little bit. So anyways, yeah, the Globes are on tonight. I'll watch them just because I always do, but they don't mean as much now as they once did, I think. Actors will still show up, obviously, because it's a reason for them to get a speech if they win and be on TV. And a lot of deals have been made at the Globes too, because the way they do it, they have like round tables. It's not all sitting in a row. You've got people chit-chatting. There's been a lot of movie deals made at the Globes back throughout the years. So it's still a thing. We'll see how much longer it goes. It's randomly used to be on NBC for years. Now it's switched over to CBS. But let's dive in to my off-the-shelf pick, which
all right.
I have to admit something. I think I undersold who the director of the movie was last week. I was like, oh, he's just this guy. I've never heard of him. Okay, I may have never recognized his name, but I have seen many of the movies that he has directed. His biggest one, and I know Roth from Wyoming loves this movie, High Noon, which High Noon and I think Day of the Jackal have quite a bit in common as far as a slow burn with ratcheting tension, like ratcheting up of tension throughout the movie. So there was a lot in common. Then he did, another huge one, From Here to Eternity. Now that one I do not recall seeing because I don't think it's on the AFI list, and I don't think it won Best Picture. And so I don't believe that I have seen From Here to Eternity. I'm trying to see. Well, it won 8 Oscars. Maybe I have seen this. No, it says it did win Best Picture, so I guess I have seen this. I just don't recall it. Oh, wait a minute. I know this movie. Yes, this is actually a really good movie. It's got like a couple of different couples in it. Yeah, okay. I know this movie now. It's good. It's a war movie, but also like a character study, following several different couples that are affected by the war. And then a big one that I love is A Man for All Seasons. I think that movie is absolutely brilliant. So, apology from me, Fred Zimmerman. I just can't believe I undersold who he was. But The Day of the Jackal, his third to final film, which is interesting to me. So it was directed in 1973.
Yeah.
Took a few years off. He did a movie called Julia, and then his last film, 5 Days, One Summer, from 1982. He was around, I mean, much longer after that because he passed away at the age of 89 in 1997. So, I mean, I guess maybe he just wanted to have, some retirement years. He had worked his whole life. I mean, the guy worked. His first movie was, gosh, in the 50s, 40s, maybe. I mean, the guy worked forever.
The thing I'm most impressed by looking at his filmography, by the way, is just the variation in everything that he's done. He's done westerns. He's done, just straight dramas. I mean, it's just all that's kind of what Hollywood used to be in a sense.
Well,
you kind of experiment. They were still trying to find, things that worked and stuff like that.
I would compare him in that sense alone, maybe not in any other circumstances, but Spielberg. Spielberg is very varied in the type of movies he has directed over the years. And even Ridley Scott to some extent. I mean, he's really varied in the type of films that he has directed over the years. But you're right. I mean, that used to be the thing. Like, hey, we need you for a comedy. Hey, we need you for a drama. We need you for a Western. We need you for a war film.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, Westerns are becoming big. Let's do one.
Let's do exactly. So, yeah, I mean, prolific director. I totally undersold the guy last week and did not necessarily mean to do that. But let's dive into The Day of the Jackal. Political thriller, I guess, is what you would call it.
Yes.
Takes place in France, and the name of the guy at the time, Charles de Gaulle. So this takes place, even though it was directed in the 70s, it takes place in the 60s. So 62, around the time that Charles de Gaulle was the president of France, there was a rebellious group. Some would call them terrorists. We will go ahead and say that, called the OSA, I believe, or something along those lines. OAS, yeah, that wanted to assassinate Charles de Gaulle. So they had, the beginning of the film starts with a really great chase scene, like car chase scene, really great action, and they fail. They do not get Charles de Gaulle at the beginning of the film. But so their last hope is to hire an assassin who's apparently the best in the world. Now, the great thing about this particular casting is the guy was an unknown, Edward Fox. And I think that as the viewer, when you're seeing a guy that you've never seen before, remember like a couple weeks ago, I talked about how a lot of times when you're watching an actor, you just subconsciously think about all their previous performances while you're watching the movie. You can't help but do it. With Edward Fox, he was a completely unknown dude. So you really had no idea what this guy was going to deliver in this particular role. And I think that helped build the tension, because you never knew what the guy was going to do to accomplish his goals. And man, he did some crazy things to, eventually attempt to accomplish his goal. I guess we could spoil it. It's a movie from the 70s if you haven't seen it, but I mean, he befriends a woman and gets her to fall in love with him, sleeps with her a couple times just so he can eventually be at her chateau and use that as a base of operations. Does the same thing with a man, which I was surprised. Like later on, he meets this guy at a bathhouse, and because he knows he needs this guy's apartment, and he murders both of them. So this guy has no remorse whatsoever for human life. Like he's out there just like killing who he has to accomplish the goal.
When he dyed his hair blonde, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought at one point, like, he reminded me of Rutger Hauer almost.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's super built too. Like he's sort of like a thin dude,
Yeah.
but like super built. Like very just very
Lean.
like when you look at him, he's unassuming, but he's hardcore. Now, the other big actor in this, which I guess I've seen him in a few things over the years, but it's not a particular actor that I'm very familiar with. But Michael Lonsdale, he was kind of the guy that the French government went to. I couldn't tell if like he was retired and they brought him out of retirement, or if he was just. I couldn't quite tell what was going on there because it seemed like he felt as if he was being pulled back into the fray. I don't know what was your thoughts on that? Like, was he? I couldn't tell if he was a working cop and they just went to him because he was a guy that they knew they could trust, or if he was retired and they pull him back into the fray. I mean, I couldn't really tell what was going on there.
That's a good question. You know, when they come to him, he seems kind of like he's taking care of these. Yeah, he might have been in retirement. I didn't even think about that. He was at his home taking care of his was it birds, I think, in the cage.
Yeah.
And he when they come up to him, he seems surprised and he gets pulled in. He does seem older.
Yeah.
But I feel like he had to have still been working because they told him to drop what your cases are right now.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
And this is it. This is what you're working on.
Yeah, this is what your focus is.
Yeah. And you can't tell anybody else except for the one person he brings in to, you know, be his assistant at that point. And I like that there's two storylines going on. There's the political machine, and then there's the seedy underground OAS storyline. So you've got the Edward Fox and you got the Michael forgetting his last name. Yeah. And the political machine is maybe a little too efficient at times, because times in the movie they're like, we've solved this thing like this.
Yeah, like, they're pretty cocky. Yeah.
And they are too cocky. That's part of their problem. They at one point dismissed the detective, even though he's getting pretty close to busting the guy and arresting him himself, and it almost gets Degal killed at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
because they let it go that long.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, that was what was interesting to me is this particular guy was well known, I guess, because he had contacts in other countries, as far as Lonsdale's character is concerned. So he was able to utilize like the Secret Service in England.
Well, yeah, and even I think he at one point he talks to his assistant, and they're kind of like going through like, what should we do? And they're both like, okay, we should contact Scotland Yard.
Oh, and did you recognize the assistant like that?
No,
Derek Jacobi.
Okay.
That dude, very young Derek Jacobi at this time, obviously, but that dude has been in some of the biggest franchises. Like if you kind of look at he was in Gladiator.
Okay.
He's been, I want to say, he was also in the Gladiator sequel. Dude's just one of those prolific actors who has been working. Gosh,
he does a lot of period stuff.
Ton of period stuff. In fact, I want to say that at one time he wanted to be in the Lord of the Rings films, and I don't know if that worked out. Like he wanted the same role of Bilbo. Like he thought he could have been a good Bilbo, and he probably would have been. I mean, he was a guy that had been around forever, but I'm trying to go how far back he's been working. Like he had been working since, let's see, his very first role.
Yes, it's 1959, years active.
Yeah, in the 50s, exactly. Crazy. Anyways, and he's
still
around.
Active.
Still around, still doing stuff every once in a while. Born in 1938.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyways, yeah, very young. Derek Jacobi was Lonsdale's assistant. And so to me, that pairing was very much like a Sherlock and Watson type pairing.
It was like a competent like a competent Clouseau and Shot in the Dark with his assistant. Yeah.
That was the other thing. I mean, and you have to just let it go. Like most of the people that are supposed to be French are speaking British accents.
Yes.
I mean, I
was okay with that.
You just have to, at some point you just have to be able to let that go. They're not going to hire a bunch of French actors to be in this, even though apparently Zinnemann spoke French really fluently. There was a good special feature on the disc, the Arrow disc that I watched. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was mostly in French with subtitles, and it was just him being interviewed and speaking French to a French reporter. So
Well, Michael Lonsdale is a French-British actor
Yeah,
on his biography, so
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and that's a guy
he's
that
got some of it in him.
he's been in a ton of movies also. I mean, that guy's been around forever. But
Mhm.
the thing that I think the movie did really well, like I said, was sort of ratcheting up that tension in a slow burn type of way, very very much like what films of the 70s were. Like there was that Redford film, 3 Days of the Condor, that is just
Yeah.
like they just do a really great job. And I'm not saying that audiences have lost their attention spans, but I think filmmakers are afraid to do these slow burn type of movies. Although you did have Soderbergh early last year do Black Bag, which I thought was an awesome
Mhm.
political thriller of this, it's kind of this ilk. I mean, where it's sort of like this slow burn, and you're following all these different characters, and you're seeing the cat and mouse. That's what this ends up being a little bit of too. It's sort of the cat and mouse of the Jackal and Lonsdale's character. So
Yeah, I loved all the games that they played, and in fact, when you get to the end of the movie, you find out that there's more games being played.
mhm.
To the point that the identity that he's assumed the entire movie that we think is his real identity is
That
not
was
even his real identity.
a great twist. I
We don't
absolutely,
know his real identity.
yeah, and in fact, I think in my letterboxed review, I think I mentioned that it had the best last line of any
Mhm.
movie, which was them explaining, "Wait a minute, this wasn't the guy we thought it was this whole time." It was like
Yeah,
that type of
which
thing, which I
which
was
means
perfect.
that the Jackal revelation, like the
Was
Jackal is
totally
Jackal,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah,
didn't even
it
matter.
didn't even matter.
It was
It
just
just
a coincidence.
yeah, exactly. A coincidence that disrupted the actual guy's life, because you see at the very end, he's
Yeah.
like, "Why are you in my flat? Get out of
Well,
here."
and I love that the guy who was in the apartment, and obviously it was true, was like, yeah, that guy's working in other countries, that kind of thing, all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, then it's clearly him. I just bought in that that's the guy. It's him. He just didn't cover his tracks enough. And instead, they do a great job with that reveal. When you get into it, I the pacing of the movie, I did have to sit there at times. He's walking around cities and he's shopping, and there's ambiance audio, but there's no dialogue audio.
right.
And I,
Yeah,
I was getting into it, like you said, because I know films from that era, and
yeah,
films are a bit slower. Pre Star Wars, a lot of films are a bit slower on that kind of side.
totally. Yeah,
But I did kind of enjoy it because it kind of helps you build and ratchet some of that tension in certain scenes too,
hmm,
because you're kind of waiting for something to happen here or there. I am surprised that he didn't hit the target at the end of the movie. I will say that.
yeah. Well, it was very much the guy happened to dip his head
Yeah,
at the
I
time.
know.
Very similar to something that happened in the
Yeah,
United States.
that's
Just
true.
a
Yeah, I can't
movement
say
of
it's
a head.
unrealistic, I guess.
Well, you think it is, but guess it's not. I guess it's not that unrealistic. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, De Gaulle happened to be bowing at that moment that the Jackal took a shot. Um, it really does make me want to watch that show on Peacock now, though, because
Yeah.
that was like very critically acclaimed,
Hmm.
and I like the actor that they have playing the Jackal. Now, I will say,
Well,
not recommending the Bruce Willis Jackal though. I'm not, that one is
well,
not as good.
and I feel like in a longer form version of this story, some of the detective work would work better for me,
Yeah, I think
where
so
we're
too.
not just like constantly speed running the detective work like they're doing in this movie. It works,
Yeah,
but I'm also kind of like, it feels like we're getting to some of these conclusions kind of fast. And that's
right.
because it's based on a book where it takes some time to get some of these things through, and they're
Yeah,
having to condense it for a film. A miniseries might work better in that sense. And I like Eddie Redmayne. I think
yeah, I
he's a
like
good
Eddie
actor.
Redmayne. I think because it came out in 2024, or yeah, I think it was 2024. I mean, the gender swapped role. Lonsdale's character is a female, I
Oh,
believe,
yeah.
in the series. I mean, it's just they gender swap everything nowadays. It's just that way. But I think it would work better long form. I would have loved to have seen this as a long form series, because
Mhm.
I think Edward Fox, totally unknown, but I think he was super suave. Obviously, he was able to seduce whomever he wanted to, male or female. And they did a great job casting an unknown, because that from the beginning leaves your audience wrong-footed, because you're not looking at somebody who you've seen in the past saying, oh, well, say at the time, I don't know who was big, like in the 70s at the time, that could have been cast in that role, but say they cast somebody big that you recognize, you go in with a preconceived notion as an audience member that, oh, well, he'll probably be successful in his task. But because you've got an unknown, you don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, it was based on a book. Yes, I get it. I mean, but not everybody can say that they've read The Day of the Jackal. So it's not like you know exactly what's going to go in, because he was a competent assassin. And throughout the movie, he eluded Lonsdale expertly. He had like no problem at all eluding Lonsdale's character. And really, it was at the very end, in more of what I would call an action sequence, that he gets taken out.
Yeah.
It wasn't
flown up in the air with the bullets.
Yes. Yeah. It was awesome. Which was sort of uncharacteristic. I mean, there was some action throughout the film, but it was mostly a cat and mouse type situation.
It was mostly Fox's character taking out people, the Jackal taking out people from behind or quickly killing them.
Yeah. I mean, so it was interesting, but it was a relief of tension too, because it was one of those things where like, oh, he's got to hurry and get there. And really, you don't know if he's going to get there until the very end, obviously. And then they even throw another twist, like you said, at the end. So I really enjoyed it. I think I may have rated it too low. Maybe I'm talking myself into re-rating it. I think I only gave it a 3, which it's really better than a 3. I can't.
This is the kind of film I love and grew up loving is a thriller in general. I love thrillers. You have to race.
No, I gave it 3.5. I'll stand by that. I gave it 3.5. I'll stand by the 3.5.
Your heart starts beating fast because the main character's got to get and stop this guy, and it's got a good resolution, even if it's mysterious and you don't exactly. But what I was trying to say, is that this is the kind of film that I loved growing up. The Zodiacs, all the kinds of films that Fincher would make. Nolan made some films like this too. I mean, the thriller movies, and it's when I've gone back to watch things like Parallax View, I start to appreciate the things that came before, the things that helped inspire guys like Fincher later. And this is one of those films for sure. I gave it an 8 out of 10 on Letterboxd.
Oh, that's good. That's big. Well, like you mentioned, Nolan, like people sleep on Insomnia. That's a great movie. That is a great like tension builder, like slow burn.
Well,
fantastic film.
Memento is a thriller. It's a bit of a different kind of thriller. It's more about the mystery as well, but there are thriller elements. Yeah, and when you get down to it, it does mess with your mind a bit, which is kind of what Nolan likes to do.
Yes, he
kind
does.
of play with the audience a bit, and but this also kind of does that at the end. A little twist right at the end, where you go, oh wow, okay, so we didn't really know everything, and we still don't have the full picture, and we're never going to have the full picture.
Yeah, they might never know who this guy really was, which is fantastic. So I need to know what are we getting from you from Off the Shelf?
What are we getting from me from Off the Shelf? Well, I'm going to go with a little film called Amadeus.
Oh yes.
And I think I'm going to do the theatrical cut because I'm saving myself some time, and it's also the 4K that I own on the shelf. So do you have access to that?
I do. I mean, I can always borrow it from Earl.
Okay.
I've seen it. In fact, I watched Earl's copy at the time, but I'll have access to it easily. Yeah. I mean, it's available to rent. So I can easily access it.
All right.
And just for our audience's benefit, let's check and see. Is it currently on any streaming service that you know of?
I did not check that because I purely looked at
it's not. So it's not. But again, super cheap. It's only $3.99 to rent anywhere. So just any service that you like, if you use Google, which they do YouTube now, it's $3.99. Apple TV $3.99. Amazon $3.99. I mean, so easily available anywhere to rent if you or the library too. I mean, we need to, Burgess would love me to say we need to support local libraries. So please go get Amadeus from your local library. That they'll have it there.
This is in celebration of the Paul Bettany show coming out.
Yeah, which that's next year, I guess, or
Yeah, I know.
twenty
You know,
twenty
it's this
seven. I
year, I
guess.
think.
Oh, is it this year? I didn't even
I
think
think it
they'd
is.
started filming it yet, but yeah, I saw that they were going to do that. That's quite interesting. But it's gosh, the movie is great. I'm looking forward to rewatching it and
Yeah,
hearing what your take on it is.
gonna be
But
my first time watching it.
yeah,
Best Picture winner. I'm excited.
yes.
I love music.
I think yeah. Look, it's great. I mean, Earl. It's I would venture to say it's probably in his top 10. I don't know exactly where it would fall, but I would venture to say it's probably in his top 10 of all time.
Mm.
So I don't know, but maybe we get our first off the shelf guest and get Earl
I
to
was
come
about to
on.
say, do we need to?
You might need
maybe
to reach
contact
out.
somebody.
You can do the booking if you want to reach out to him and tell him we're doing Amadeus.
Okay.
He has seen it like probably 500 times, so he would definitely be interested in talking about that if you wanted to.
All right.
Invite him on. So that's up to you.
Well, we're not promising, but
yeah, we're not
we're gonna
promising, but I know he loves that movie quite a bit. So
Fun.
I had alluded to I did a double feature.
Yep.
I did see Primate. Let's talk just very briefly about Primate. Obviously, it's a horror film. Your typical animal attacks type horror film. The only cast member of note, at least for me, I didn't recognize anybody else. There's a cameo at the beginning and kind of the middle that I recognize that guy. He's a comedian or whatever. But Troy Kotsur is probably the most well known just because of Coda, and he's been in a couple of other things. And I do love seeing him in movies. They obviously utilized the fact that he is hearing impaired or deaf, I guess you could say that. So they did a lot of sign language because the movie is about a chimpanzee. This family owns this chimpanzee. It takes place in Hawaii, and we see that this particular chimpanzee named Ben has been with this family for a very long time, since it was a little baby chimpanzee and now an adult chimpanzee. So it's really smart. It knows like 300 words via sign language. It has this little electronic thing. Like if you've seen the preview, you see where it was hitting the electronic thing to say how it felt. And so I don't necessarily want to spoil anything on Primate. It's a pretty cut and dry type of thing, though. I mean, the chimpanzee goes bad because it gets bit by a mongoose, and so it gets rabies.
Rabies? Okay.
It's rabies. Yeah.
Okay.
And so the weakest thing about the film is the cast and the dialogue is some of the worst, like just really cheesy. They don't deliver. It's not delivered well. So Troy Kotsur's not in the film that often. He's in the film at the beginning. He goes away on a business trip, and he's in the film at the end. So the majority of the cast you're seeing is young people trying to have a good time at this. Troy Kotsur's character is a famous author, and so they're very well off. They're at a very expensive house. They have an infinity pool. A lot of the sequences take place in this infinity pool. So, anyways, it's just a bunch of annoying younger people, and I just don't.
So you're fine with seeing them be slaughtered.
I was. Yes, I was. So yeah, and then so the majority of the movie's obviously just this chimpanzee utterly obliterating most of the people in the film. Which that's not a spoiler. You see that some of that in the preview. I mean, obviously that's what this movie is. It's a horror film.
Does this take place kind of at a zoo or
no, not at all. It's all at this house. So minimal.
So
that's a good thing. So minimal, set. They don't have too much to work with. It's just the house for the majority of the film.
So these people own a chimpanzee.
They own the chimpanzee. It has a little cage.
See, that's why you don't own a chimpanzee.
You never own a chimpanzee. The practical effects were really good, like really, really good throwback practical effects. There's not much. I'm sure that they intersperse it with CG. Obviously they do, but I'm saying like all the kills seem somewhat practical, really gruesome, really gory. So not a total loss of a movie, but the cast was I gave it a 3 just because I was quite impressed with the way it was shot. I think the director and the cinematographer did a really good job of creating a creepy atmosphere. The score was sort of a synth score, so a little bit interesting in that fact. I liked the score a little bit. It was used well. And so if it wasn't just for the lack of character, like the characters were just also annoying, which maybe they were supposed to be, so you didn't care if they were getting slaughtered, but I don't know. But the other one
that goes.
I know we both got out to see. Now
Yes.
I'm going to honor the filmmaker, and I'm going to call it Greenland Migration. I'm not going to add the two, because the filmmaker, the title card, as the movie said Greenland Migration.
Yes, it said Greenland in white font, and then migration in like clear, translucent.
Yes, there was
font.
no annoying number 2 there, which I think that is unneeded. But they
no colon either.
No colon. Yeah, exactly. Now for marketing purposes, they added a 2. They added a colon. Greenland 2 Migration. I guess that they didn't want people to get confused that they wanted people to know that this was a sequel. Which makes some sense if you consider that Greenland was not in theaters.
Yeah, I guess
it was direct to streaming service.
My whole problem with this was, so this was supposed to be a theatrical release. I remember in 2020 going to the theaters, seeing the trailer for Greenland, thinking that's going to be a terrible movie. And then I wound up seeing it because it was on streaming later and went, okay, that wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah.
But did we need a sequel to Greenland?
We don't need.
We didn't know how that movie would perform at the box office in the first place. But then on top of it, the report is the budget for 2 is $90 million. My Lord.
Was this a Lionsgate joint? I think it was Lionsgate. STX, maybe?
It is.
Yeah, it was rough. It was not a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, at least from a location shooting, I see that 90 on screen. I mean, it's not like sometimes, when you see a budget that big and you get frustrated as a viewer that you don't see the budget on screen. I think that they used that budget well, at least. I mean, but yeah, some of that was Gerard just, I don't know. Was he demanding a high salary for this? I mean, I don't think that he's in the part of his career where he should be demanding anything. I mean, it's not like he's a huge box office draw, but I like him as an actor.
I knew about halfway through this movie, and we're not going to get into, I guess, spoilers because it's
probably
just
not. We probably shouldn't. Yeah,
but I knew halfway through this movie what the ending was going to be. When something happens in a bathroom, and something gets revealed, I said, okay, he's going to get somewhere, and then that's going to happen. And that's it. And it's kind of paint by the numbers in terms of story getting there.
I did like some of the characters.
A good looking movie.
Yeah, I think it does.
But I think the story was pretty weak.
Well, and that goes to show you. So the director was Rick Roman Waugh, I think is this Waugh. I don't know how to say that last name. So he's directed 2 other things with Gerard. He did Angel Has Fallen, which is the President Secret Service movie, and then Kandahar, which was a surprisingly good movie in my opinion, from a couple years ago. This, like you said, he knows how to shoot a film. He knows how to make it look good. I mean, I liked all the location shooting. They did some really, I'm sure some of it was on sound stages, but for the most part, it looked like a lot of it was outside location shooting. I thought the special effects were actually pretty good. So I'm sure that's where most of the 90 is from the special effects that needed to be done on the film.
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's a lot more special effects than you realize, even in some of the location stuff too.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably right. I did like, or at least I bought into the character work that was done here between Gerard Butler and Moraine Baccarin. Mostly known for Deadpool, but I mean, that's where most people know her from, but she's been around forever. Like, she's been a working actress for a really long time. I thought that there was some good sincerity in the performances. I thought that the kid was okay. He almost verged on annoying in a couple of moments, but I think for the most part he was okay.
He replaced the former kid too.
He did. He replaced the other
So it's
kid.
not the original actor.
Yeah, not the original actor. I liked, even though he was only in like one or two scenes, I liked that French guy that they met up with.
I agree.
I thought he was I thought he was really good. I don't know.
I think he might be the strongest part of the movie, but
Yeah.
he's not in it a lot.
He's not in it a lot, but he was really good. Like I
Yeah.
thought he was great in that.
And I got his decision that he makes in terms of,
totally.
even in that small time.
Even that in that short period of time. Totally. Yeah, he basically he realizes quickly, because of the people that he has run into throughout this whole ordeal, he realizes quickly who he can trust. And he realizes that Gerard Butler's character is a trustworthy type of person.
Mm-hmm. And I think he realizes something's happening there as well, because there's a shot of him in bed hearing that thing kind of dancing around what's going
Yeah.
if you know what I'm talking about.
So what this whole franchise is, I think, is an elevated
disaster movie,
disaster flick. I mean, basically, like it's not Deep Impact or Volcano or Dante's Peak. I think it's a little above that.
I think the first one works because they did some good character work. It's a very grounded feeling film. And you care about this family at the end of the movie.
Yes,
and you're very happy that they've made it into the bunker. That's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but it's also kind of an obvious
of the first
ending.
one. But yeah.
I mean, but it's a good movie. I mean, even if you know that they're going to make it, there's a lot of other things that happen. There's good tension. It's a well done movie.
Totally.
This one, just I don't know. I don't know that I cared that much about some of the stuff that happened in this movie. I felt bad about certain things, but there's a lot of ecological and storm disaster stuff that was in, but I just don't know that they had a story that really hooked me.
I mean, to your point, I mean, and I don't like saying this in general. I mean, why does this movie need to exist, or does it need to exist? I mean, there's
it's lazy. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think that all movies need to exist, even if they're the worst thing on the face of the earth. It's art. It's great that it exists.
Yeah.
This one just wasn't as good as the first one. I mean, the first problem that this had going against it is it's 5 years after. Like we had to wait. Greenland came out in 2020.
Close to
6.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's 2026. Yeah. So
like
6
5 and
years,
a half. Yeah.
6 years after the first one. I mean, you don't need to. If you're going to do a sequel to a movie like Greenland, you do it like within 3 years. You don't wait 6 to do a sequel to Greenland. Now, that's not necessarily the first time that has happened with a Gerard Butler film. That Den of Thieves and its sequel, I think there was a long time in between those two.
There was. And Den of Thieves 2, I thought was actually good.
I loved Den of Thieves 2, dude. I loved that movie.
Pantera.
Yeah, Pantera, stupid title, but I loved that movie. I thought it was so beautiful.
It surprised me. That the first two Den of Thieves have both surprised me.
Yeah, exactly.
And the first Greenland surprised me. This one didn't. Sadly.
Yeah, this one let me down a little bit. I think I did this at like a 2.5. I mean, it's a bit of a letdown. I think good character work in it. I like Gerard Butler still. I mean, he keeps making movies that I am for him continuing to work. I thought he was great in last year's How to Train Your Dragon. He's got a movie that did not get released in the United States that he has with Oscar Isaac that I'm interested in seeing, because it's more of like a drama directed by Julian Schnabel that I kind of am interested in seeing, because it sounds like it could have been a disaster. And so that intrigues me when movies are disasters that aren't intended to be disasters, that are intended to be like Oscar bait type films. So I'd like to see him in that. But yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, Den of Thieves, I'm sorry, Greenland Migration didn't work, but I don't hate that it exists. I mean, it was fine. It's fine. It's not a problem. Next week, my personal focus is going to be on 28 Years Later, the Bone Temple, or whatever.
Totally agree.
Yeah, that'll be my personal focus on seeing that. We are getting no other, like I said earlier in the episode, we are getting No Other Choice, but I know Brunswick probably won't be getting that, so I'm not going to like say that we're going to talk about no other choice too much, but I am going to try and see that. But the main focus, well, and The Rip. I do want to watch The Rip also.
Okay.
With Damon and
Is that
Affleck.
Carnahan?
Yeah, Carnahan, Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm going to watch that. I like Joe Carnahan, even though his last 2 movies have not been great. I do look forward to watching The Rip just because of the cast alone. I mean,
he made Cop Shop?
He did. That was great. That was from several years back, but yeah,
Okay.
he made. Yeah,
that
his
wasn't one of his last 2. Okay.
Shadow Force. I didn't get a chance to watch, but I heard it was an abomination. And then he has one that I don't know that got released.
Not Without Hope.
That has not been released as far as, or it didn't. It's on digital streaming.
Okay.
I am interested in seeing that because I like the guy that's in that. Oh gosh, his name just escaped me. The star of that movie,
Zachary Levi.
I do like Zach Levi. So I'll try and watch
Chuck.
that. Yeah, he's from Chuck. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's. I think we did it. I think we debriefed the cinema.
All right. Well, where can we find you on social media, Mikey, if you want to find you?
Oh yeah, look, I'm around. I don't utilize social media that much, but I'm around it. I'm on X at the Michael Nip. I'm also on Letterboxd, where most of my movie takes are going to go on Letterboxd. It's the Michael Nip as well. Just something that I never thought would happen is Hurricane Rhett has a Letterboxd account now.
Yeah.
Now it appears that he is a coward and is just using it to log his films.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't necessarily rate them, or maybe he rates them, but he doesn't say much about them. So he's slowly like baby stepping into what the glory of Letterboxd can give you. But I never thought in a million years that Hurricane Rhett would ever get a Letterboxd account. So you need to look him up on there. I think it's Rhett B, or I don't exactly know what his Letterboxd is, but I think you could probably find it. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
You can find me on Twitter at gryfun3, GRYFUN3, Letterboxd at gryfun. You can find us on X, a bunch of other platforms, Instagram at Cinema Debrief. You can email us at cinemadebriefpod. Shout out to Jeremy Burgess. He was the first person to email us so far.
Oh, yeah.
Friend of the show.
Very sincere email. I really appreciate that email, Jeremy.
We'll see you guys next week for Amadeus and a little bit about Bone Temple.